Friends, got something cool for you today. Microtech out the front UTX-85. Pretty cool, huh? Automatic knife. I've never been too much into the automatic knives. The only one I have is this Boker here. And I bought it because it's dressed up like Boba Fett from Star Wars. It's a snappy little knife. Not very expensive. I think I paid less than 50 bucks for this knife. And I thought it'd be a cool collector's piece. That's why I bought it. But quality actually surprised me. This little Microtech, these things run about 260 bucks. So they're expensive. This little UTX-85 is a smaller version of the Ultratech. It's got aluminum handles. 3.11 inch blade, 7.51 inches overall. This particular version has been used and abused. It's supposed to have a broken tip, some problems along the edge of the blade, and the action is a little less than desirable. And tonight we're going to take care of all them problems, but before we do, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share it to any of your friends that might like similar content. It's what keeps the channel going. Thank you. Alright, so the first thing we need to do is grab our little digital microscope and see what's going on. And first off the bat, we can see that tip is messed up. And let's check out the edge. This is a double-edged knife. Dagger style. There's a spot right there. Beat on something. Try to cut through a nail. And work our way up towards the tip here. Not too bad. But that tip is, they probably tried to open a paint can or something with this knife, huh? Pried the lid right off there and snap that tip. Let's go down this other side. Not too bad so far, huh? Not too bad. Little spot there. Okay, let's flip her over and see what the other side looks like. We got 4 bevels on this knife. Alright, little spot there. Not the major. Let's see. That looks pretty good. Yeah, it's just something on there. There's that tip, huh? Boy, that thing's jacked up. Alright, let's come down the other side. A little wavy in there. Let's see. Ooh, look at that. There's that big spot where they hit that nail or whatever it was. The rest of it don't look too bad, so not a big job, So first thing we need to do is we're just going to do this on a Spyderco medium stone. Throw a little water with a couple drops of Dawn in there for lubrication. Get that stone nice and wet. And what we're going to do is we're going to take that knife and we're just going to work that tip and get our point back on it first before we try to sharpen it. So just drag it nice and lightly back and forth. Make sure you rock it as you do. That way you get that nice rounded to the point like we want. So we're doing that there. Try not to go in the same spot on the stone either. You don't want to work a groove in your stone. By the way, this is M390 steel, in case you're wondering. And we got to do the other side. And just keep doing this until we get the point where we want it. We want to make sure we're centered in the knife. And to do so, we're going to have to take the little digital microscope and keep looking at it and going back and forth from the stone to the microscope until we get that tip exactly how we need it. So what we need to do is come up, work our way up the center line of the spine of the blade there, and that'll tell us where our tip needs to be. Flip it over, check the other side. What we're going to find out on this particular knife, that Microtech didn't get the grind even from side to side. It's not way off, but it is off. So if we look at this side here, that center line is off to the right, as you can see. Then we flip it over, and on this side, it's right in the middle. So what we're going to have to do is just, we can leave one side off, but I decided I'm going to take the average of the two. So I'm going to work that tip just over a little bit more to where I'm kind of in between both sides, and then when I sharpen it, that should take care of it. So either way, just wanted to show you there. And I go back to the stone, work it, come back to the microscope, look at it, back to the stone, back to the microscope. I'll spare you all that time. But once we got it right, now we got to put it in our little hap stone. Had to take one arm off again. And this little Microtech has just enough area that's flat that I can get this arm on here. I didn't really think I could do it. I thought I was going to have to do this by hand. But once I got it in there nice and tight, it didn't wiggle around, so I had the confidence to move forward. So got my box of stones out, and of course, this being M390, I decided to break out the Ursa Diamond Stones by Benev. And I'm telling you, this is the best value of stones I ever bought right here. You got 3 stones, and that gives you, they're double-sided, so that gives you 6 different grits, all the way up to 1200, 120 to 1200. Alright, so we're going to start with the higher grit, because I just want to find the bevel that's on the blade now. So I'm going to get my stone in there. Now, these aren't exactly made for this, but the ones that are made for it are twice as much money. They don't really make a double-sided stone for these fixed angle sharpeners, so I would have had to buy twice as many stones, but I found that these will fit in there and will work. Alright, so here's the old trick of taking a Sharpie and marking the blade. I'm sure you've seen plenty of this on YouTube. And then I'm going to take my stone and I'm going to work it on there and see how it's taking the Sharpie off to see if I match the bevel. That's what we're going to do here. I can barely see it, so I got to pick it up. And it took me a few times adjusting it until I finally got it right on the money. And then now I take my 400 grit. I decided to start with 400, wet it down with my Dawn and water solution, and I just start working that edge. I got the bevel exactly matched up, so I am going to work that blade just like on my other videos if you want to see more about using the hapstone. But the most important part here is to support that tip, because that tip's way out there, so I stick my finger under there as I bring the stone up to it, and that keeps me from rounding the tip. I want a nice sharp tip. So anyway, we worked through all the stones, got it nice and sharp all the way to 1200. So let's go ahead and put those stones away, and let's get this baby back out of the hapstone. Like I said, if you want to see more about the hapstone, I got plenty of videos showing you how to sharpen a knife with the hapstone and my different stones. You can check that out in my sharpening videos. Alright, so let's go ahead and get this arm back on there, because the last thing we want to do is lose it. Don't take a second to take it on and off. Pretty nice design. There we go. Let's get that out of the way. And let's see how we did. Yep, look at that. Nice and pretty. And it's not. I mean, it looks almost like a mirror polish from the naked eye, but under the microscope you can see the scratches in there. I didn't go crazy. I didn't go hog wild. This side here is not as even as the other side. Alright, because that's some of the damage that was done, and plus the uneven grind from Microtech. But I got all the waves and damage out of the edges. Let's check that out. See how much cleaner it is? Like I said, you can still see the scratch marks in there. But it's not as scratchy as it was. Alright, now let's see about getting this thing cleaned up and get this action freed up. So the first thing I need to do is clean it. This thing is nasty. And see how it's sticking? Look at that. That tip's not working. Every once in a while, every third or fourth time, it gunks up. Alright, and it doesn't fire. So let's figure out what we're going to clean that with. Well, I got some gun scrubber. I got a shoot straight called Quick Scrub. I haven't used this yet. It's a brand new can. So let's go ahead and spray this down, and I'm going to put this in fast forward. That way you're not having to watch a video of me just sitting there scrubbing a knife. You can get all the fine points without having to go through the whole 10 minutes of knife scrubbing. It's got a little glass breaker down there. You know, for an aluminum handle, I don't really like aluminum handles that much, but this knife's pretty good for an aluminum handle. Feels good in the hand. It's a little small for me. I got big hands. If I was to go out and spend the money, I'd go ahead and get the full-size one. Let's get this blade scrubbed down. It's got all kinds of gunk in there. It's got some holes, reliefs in the fuller there. So scrub that, wipe it down. Alright, now let's try to clean out the inside a little bit with some compressed air. I'm just going to use my little keyboard cleaner. I don't feel like firing up an air compressor. And that little tube will make it easy to get in there. Didn't get as much out of there as I thought. Now I did squirt some of that cleaner down in there, you just didn't see it on the camera. Alright, now we're going to get the best lube in the world. That's my One Angry Kid premium knife lube. Let's go ahead and wet this blade down real good. And slide it in and out. Try to work some up inside there. And do the other side. Alright, work it in and out. Try to get some inside there. I also put a couple drops on the inside and wet the handle down. Get some around the switch. And I just like to coat the whole knife pretty heavily. Get it good and wet. And just get the cap back on there. So it keeps your needle nice and clean. And we'll just wipe off all that excess and see if that action cleaned up any. Put some fresh lube in there. I'd say so. Well, snappier. But these Microtechs, they do have a stiff switch. And my thumb, I already got a big cut on it. And it's kind of hurting like hell to fire this thing. And that's another reason I'm not that big on these switch blades. You know? You imagine being out there in a bad situation, you're all sweaty or bloody. You're trying to get this knife to fire. You know, they look cool in the movies and all that. It's a pretty knife. Everybody should have one in their collection, but when it comes down to it, I'm going to take my Parrot 2 or my Benchmade tagged out, or better yet, my ZT-0452 carbon fiber. Look at that beautiful knife, huh? That's nice and quick. 4-inch blade. That thing's gorgeous. It's better looking than that Microtech. And I don't know, it might be a little hard for me to fire left-handed, but I'm pretty good with my right hand. But it definitely is nice having all these choices, isn't it? You imagine living in a world where you're not even allowed to carry a knife? So, enjoy the hobby. Pick you out whatever knife makes you happy. Check out my knife lube when you get a chance. And please take a moment to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share it to your friends. Once again, thanks for viewing.